हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। आज का वीडियो जो मैं बनाने वाला हूँ, दैट इज़ रियली स्पेशल फॉर मी। एज यू कैन सी इन द स्लाइड, आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर सम इंसाइट्स जो भी मैंने सीखा है रिसेंटली। आई हैव डन अ कोर्स बाय IUCEE, इंडो यूनिवर्सल कोलैबोरेशन फॉर इंजीनियरिंग एजुकेशन. So, whatever I have learned in this course, so this was a 6 months course, and they have different modules which they cover across these 6 months. So, jo bhi, whatever knowledge I have gained in this course, I am going to share in this video. So, people, who are aspiring to become a assistant professor, or who want to start, a career in teaching, I hope this video will be useful for you. So I will just go to the website and I will show you regarding this course. So this is the website, as you can see, IUCEE.org, and they have a lot of FDPs going, for last few years across different institutes. As you can see here, this is the international organization, and they have designed this FDP in across 5 modules, which I'll be talking later in my video, and you can read more details about this. And it is a paid program, but fortunately, I will like to thank our Geetam University, who has sponsored this course for the faculties. So whatever knowledge I have gained from this 6 months course, I am going to summarize this in this video. So let's start. Go to the next slide. Okay, so talking about the content. So as I have told before, the whole course is divided into 5 modules. Initially, we will be talking about what is the teaching learning process, and how we can make it effective. Then comes how you can design the course and deliver it. So most of the time the complaint comes from the student that the teacher always present a slide and then he simply reads the slide, right? So in this we are going to see how you can design a effective course and how you can deliver it, right? So it has maximum efficiency. Third thing is how you can create a dynamic classroom. Because now now the teachers are dealing with Gen Z students and who get bored very easily. So it's very important that you have to keep their mind engaged. So in the third topic, we are going to see how you can create a dynamic classroom. There are some tips. And then in the fourth part, we are going to see how we can harness some existing technologies which will make your teaching effective. And finally, we are going to see how you can do an effective assessment, so that you know that which student has really learned the lesson and which has not. So let's begin with the first part, teaching learning process. Okay. So as you can see in this diagram, teaching learning, if you teach something and if you provide a lot of information at one time, then it becomes very difficult for the brain to capture everything. So the first tip which was taught to us was that don't provide a lot of information at one time. You have to use the strategy chunking and spacing. What do you mean by chunking and spacing? As you can see in this diagram, if I will tell you, remember a number, if it is a long continuous number, it's very difficult for our brain to focus. But once you divide that into small parts, then it is easy to retain. So you have to use the same strategy in class. Suppose you are going to teach a very complicated topic, right? So don't teach a lot of complicated concepts in one class. Break it and teach only small part rather than teaching everything in one class, right? So you have to chunk it, and then you have to give a little gap between your two concepts. Let the concept sink in. Do some talking, take a break, and then you start a fresh topic after some gap. So the first tip is chunking and spacing. Okay. So now we'll see what is the second. Okay. So now we'll discuss what are an attributes of an outstanding teacher, right? So when you were a student, you always have some favorite teacher, right? So what things do you like about that person which you thought that he is an excellent teacher? So these are some of the attributes a teacher should have. Like, you should be passionate, you should be enthusiastic. Suppose you go to a class and you are not passionate about the subjects which you are going to teach, obviously that energy will be transformed to the class also. Clear communication skills, like you should be a very good communicator, you should be a very good storyteller, you should know how to engage the class, make some story, make some joke, get the class with yourself, and then you can start the lectures. Empathetic and understanding, obviously as a teacher you have different kind of student, everyone will not be at the same level, so you should be knowing that how you have to deal with it. And they are kids, right? They are children and they may have some bad times, so you should be able to be empathized with them. Like, you see one scene from Three Idiots, like when one of the student went to Virus, the HOD, and he tells that I know I will not be able to complete my project because I need some extension. But the HOD, the Virus, he did not show any empathy toward the student, and which ultimately led to the suicide of that student. So being empathetic is very important as a teacher, right? Adaptable and flexible teaching style. So again, right, there are different kind of learning habits for different students, so you have to be little adaptable, and also based on the concepts you are teaching. Every concept cannot be taught in the same way. Finally, you have to be a very encouraging critical thinker, and you have to support the learning environment, right? So you should always keep encouraging your student rather than discouraging them. If somebody have a different idea, different style of learning, you should encourage. And finally, continuous feedback and reflect on. So you should be able to take feedback, right, from your students, from other teachers, and you should keep improving on your teaching practices. So these are some of the qualities of a good teacher. Now we are going to understand this Lawman's 2D diagram. So what is this Lawman's 2D diagram? So Lawman's 2D diagram says that there are two aspects of a teaching, as you can see in this diagram. One is your interpersonal rapport, other is your intellectual excitement. So in simple terms, if I tell you what is the interpersonal rapport, is how you are in delivering a lecture, how you good in communication. And intellectual excitement is about how good you are in your knowledge. So it may happen that you are very good in your knowledge, but you are not able to deliver that to your student. So your knowledge may be high, but your rapport may be low, right? Similarly, it may happen the other side, that your knowledge is low, but you are very good in your delivery. You are very good in your the way you communicate. So for a good teacher, you should have a balance between both, and you should keep improving. Suppose you are lacking in your intellectual excitement, then you can upgrade yourself by doing some course, doing some FDPs, learning some new concepts. If you are low on interpersonal rapport, again you can do some courses like this FDP where you learn how to teach, but it should always be a balance between both of them. Then comes the most important thing which I feel I have learned in this class is the teaching learn ARCS model. So I use this since the time I have learned. I have been always using it. So what is this ARCS model? So A stands for attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. So whenever you go to a class, whenever you start a new concepts, it's very important that you grab the attention of every student, right? So how will you do that? You can do that by doing all this. Either you can create a humor or a fact. You can ask them to participate, or you can do some inquiry. So basically you do something and you bring the attention of all the class. Like for example, if you are teaching signal processing, signals, right? So then you can tell that, okay student, what kind of signal you can see in the class. So let's write them one by one. Then they will give some reply that, okay sir, we can see electric signal, we can see Wi-Fi signal, right? Then comes the relevance, that why you studying. So most of the time many students complain that they don't find relevant in the course. That what will happen if I study this concept? How is it going to help me to get a good job? So you have to link your concepts and make it relevant. You have to tell them that okay, if you learn this concept, where you are going to apply it. Are you going to apply it some project, or you are going to apply it in some job, or how you can get an internship from this. So you have to make them understand that okay, does it impact the society if you learn this, right? So the relevance is very important. Suppose you are watching this video, and if it doesn't make relevance to you, obviously you are going to skip it, right? And then comes confidence building. So confidence building is like you give them some very easy examples to start with, so that they start building their confidence. And finally, once you are done with all this, it's all about the satisfaction, where once a student completes process A to ARC, and he goes back from the class feeling a little more satisfied, right? And reward, unexpected reward. Yes, you can always give some unexpected rewards to the student. Like you can conduct some quiz, or you can ask some oral questions, and if they are able to reply, you can give some unexpected rewards, like maybe a small chocolate. And if one more thing I like to tell you, if you want to chat GPT to use to create ARCS model, it is very easy. You just go to ChatGPT and you simply write that I want to teach, like let me show you that by an example. It will be much better. So let us go to ChatGPT, and suppose I will write down I want to teach digital signal processing, maybe sampling theorem using ARCS model. Help me design the course. So if you simply type this, ChatGPT will understand okay, what is the ARCS model, and then it will give you some hints how you can create ARCS model. So it is saying that okay, to get the attention, you start with a demo, right? You play some audio, start with a demo. Then relevance, you can relate mobile audio compression, camera, and you can every music file, WhatsApp voice follows this theorem. So all this you can do to make them understand relevance. Then you can see how you can build the confidence, step by step derivation. So you have to show them step by step. You can do some labs in your class, right? And finally satisfaction, which ensures that learner feel achieved and valued. So you can end with a mini project online tool. So for every topic which you are going to teach, you can create a ARCS model in the ChatGPT, which most of the time I also use, right? So this was all about ARCS. We'll go to the next topic. Okay, so next topic is how you can use different massive open learning courses, MOOC courses in your project. So obviously, there is one way of traditional teaching, and then there is some other way, like Coursera, right? There are different online, Udemy, Coursera. So you can tell the student that okay, there are some other links also. If you are interested, you can go and you can learn. There may be some practical hands-on experience, like MATLAB has a lot of hands-on experience, to integrate with your course. So you can use all those things along with your course. And you have different types of students. So maybe the fast learner, they need to be challenged more. Their brain need to be challenged more, otherwise they will get bored very easily. So for fast learners who are very good in the class, you can also redirect them to these open courses. Okay, now we will understand what is the second module, learning from the second module, which is course design and delivery. Again, you can use ChatGPT very effectively for doing this, for designing your course. Okay, so first thing is what we have learned in this courses. You have to establish a ground rule. So what is a ground rule? Ground rule means that when you go to the class first time, for the first lecture, you discuss with your student and you set up the ground rule. Like for example, you know, how much time is late. You know, if a student comes late to your class, what is the maximum time he will be allowed? So you can discuss this with your class and decide that okay, we will set up a time that 5 minutes. If the class starts at 9 o'clock, if somebody comes before 9:05, they will be allowed, or after that they will not be allowed. So these are some small things, but you know it, and you have to make sure that you participate the students. It's not always one way that you are setting the ground rules and they are simply following. They need to feel that they are a part of the decision making process. So you can discuss this and you can create some 5 or 10 rules for your class, like turn off your mobile phone, you know, start the meeting on time. So these are some examples. Second thing is unit level planning. So what you have to do before going to the class, you have to organize your course, you know, and you have to sequence them based on your learning activity, and you have to think that how I am going to evaluate, how I am going to teach, what examples I am going to present in my class. You know, you can just make a small note so that while delivering you can just see and check, okay, I have covered all these things and now I can go for this example, now I can go for this assessment. So a small note is always useful for you when you enter the class. That will help you to be more structured. Then comes flipped classroom. So what is a flipped classroom? So as you can see in this diagram, traditional classroom is where you are teaching first and then you are giving the homework. Flipped classroom is somewhere where you ask them to come prepared from home and then we discuss the concept in the class. So flipped classroom is very important for topics which are not that difficult. Like for example, if you want to save time, if you are doing a lot of activity in your class, obviously you may run short of time. So if you want to save time, what you can do, in a topic you can separate the easy topics and the difficult topics, and all those easy topics you can give it for self-learning as a part of flipped classroom, and then you can discuss all of them together in one class. That will help you save a lot of time, right? So the next thing is peer supported independent group. So this is especially important for the slow learners. So what you do, you create a group where there will be at least 2 fast learners, you know, or 1 fast learners, few average learners and few slow learners, and then ask them to work in a group, right? And you just facilitate them, right? And then you have to sometimes after sometimes in between you have to keep creating some small meetings and discuss. Okay, so what will happen, they will learn in small groups, each of the person will help each other, and that is very effective way of learning. Now comes the one of the most important module, which we were also very excited when we were studying this course, is all about dynamic classroom. That how you can create a dynamic classroom. Okay, so what do you understand by dynamic classroom? Dynamic classroom is there where there is a two-way dialogue, right? It's not just one way, that I am speaking and everyone is sleeping. It's a two-way dialogue, that I am speaking, then the students are also speaking. There is a dialogue, there is a debate, there is a discussion, right? There are some hands-on, there are some practical labs. Okay, so first thing is self-learning topics. So as I have told earlier, flipped classroom, where you can give some topics to the student. So similarly, you can divide the self-learning topic, and you can ask the student that, okay, these are the easy topics, so I'm not going to cover them in class. So these are the things which you can do it in your home, and then we can discuss it. Just have a common discussion one day. That will save you a lot of time. Okay, then the second thing is that engaging slow learners. So what does this tell you? Provide additional support in office hours. So what happens most of the time, these slow learners will be not that much open to you in the class. They will be little quiet, or they have some doubt, they will not speak. So what you can do, you can set up office hours. Office hours is something where you are free, and you can set up at least 1 or 2 hours in a week where these students can come and meet you, and they can share your personal issues. Again, the same concept, breaking down the complex topic into smaller chunks. This we have already discussed. Offer alternative explanation and encourage peer collaboration. Right? So sometimes, like suppose I am teaching a student from Andhra Pradesh and I am teaching a concept which he is not understanding. So maybe I will try to find some relevant example from which is more personal to him. Right? Like I can take the example of Vijayawada or Vizag or some city or some town which is more personal to him, rather than talking just some general sense. I can make the concept a little more personalized. Or if somebody likes cricket a lot, I can take some topic and I can explain them, like for example signal processing. I can take the example of a sneakometer. How in cricket you have seen that when a batsman edges, how you see the spikes, right? So this is how you have to change your teaching example based on the audience. Provide constructive feedback and positive reinforcement. So obviously, if somebody is doing good, you have to keep, giving good feedback to them. Okay. Some more tips for creating a dynamic classroom is like you have to engage debates, case study, role plays, right? So this is a very interesting way to teach, where you can give some role play that, okay, imagine you are a diode, then what are your characteristics, how you will behave. This we used to do in our class and the student really enjoys. Imagine you are an amplifier, what is your characteristic, or what is your properties. So this kind of thing. Then debate you can do, whether we can create a topic which have both pros and cons, and you can ask one of the group to tell the pros and one of the group to tell the cons. Encourage student-led discussion and presentation. So rather than you teaching, so there is a saying that in a 1 hour class, you should not be talking more than 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So 30 to 40% of the time your student should be speaking and not you. Then you should always integrate your class with hands-on experiment demonstration, like as you are seeing here. When I am teaching, I am also showing you some chat GPT example. So similarly, when you are teaching any course which has some labs, you can also switch to the labs, do show some experiment, and then come back to the theory part. Okay, so then there are some tools which you can use. I will show you one of them, like gamification of the teaching. Like you can use some tools like Kahoot and Mentimeter, which makes your teaching really interactive. So I will show you how my Mentimeter, how it works. Okay, so these are some of the quiz which I have already conducted. So let me show you one, the way how I engage the kids. So see, these are some of the questions which you can create, and student can join this presentation by, suppose if I present this, right? So it will ask that you can join this by using menti.com and using this code. So once they join and they enter any input, it will be directly displayed to the projector. So it's really fun, it makes them engaged a lot, and they are really excited to see that the thing they are writing is going to the projector. So these are some of the, like I'll show you one more. So this kind of quiz you can create with music, and then it will show some real-time interaction, and then it will also show you the leaderboard, and this makes them really excited about the course, right? So I will just escape it. So this is one of the tool, again mentimeter.com. You can create your account. This is free, and you can 50 participants a month can be done free of cost. So you can at least run one quiz, one presentation in a month if you have around 50 students in your class. Okay, we will go to the next slide. Why the slide is not changing? Okay, so the fourth module is all about harnessing technologies. So till now we have seen 3 modules. Now we'll see the fourth module. So harnessing technologies, it means how, there are some existing simulation lab, virtual labs which you can use. So this is one of the virtual labs by Government of India. You can visit their website and you can see that they have a lot of different labs for different subjects. So you can explore this on your own and you can use this in your class. Some other technique is like how you can use these ICT tools. So there are a lot of ICT tools which are available, and you can explore them and you can filter that, okay, which tool is effective for me for which course, right? You can simply go to ChatGPT and you can take some advice that I am teaching this subject, this topic, so which tools I can use for better engagement. Okay. Blending classroom teaching with online medium. Okay. So sometimes you can blend your normal teaching with the online, like you can do some pre-recorded sessions, you can record some videos, and you can also share them to your student. Like you feel that some topics are are not important to be taught in class, you can simply record them and you can share the video to them. Then you can use all these LMS tools for better organizing your material and assignment. And then in your lecture you should always use multimedia elements. This I always used to do: YouTube videos, multimedia, sounds, animation. All these really makes your class interesting. Okay, so now finally we will be going to the last module, which is effective assessment. So now, since you have completed your teaching, you want to see which student have learned the concept and which student have not learned the concept. So how you can do the effective assessment, we will see in this module. So first thing is controlling plagiarism, right? Now in the days of ChatGPT, everything you give to them, they will simply put it in ChatGPT and they will get the answer. So how you can control plagiarism? The first thing is you have to educate students about the consequence of plagiarism, because and the importance of academic integrity. You should teach them that, okay, suppose you are using ChatGPT and all tools, maybe you are getting it is helping you now, but if you don't learn the knowledge, the concepts, in the long term it is going to harm you. And then if you are referring other works, some people work in your assignment, then you have to refer them or you have to cite them. That you have to teach your students. Then we can always use some plagiarism and AI tool detection software like Turnitin or iAuthenticate. And you should always encourage originality. Even if it is not good, there are spelling mistakes, it may not be that polished, but you should always encourage those kind of assignments. Yes, and you should always be open for open feedbacks, and it should be anonymous. Then only you will get the right picture that what your student thinks about you and what things they want to change in the class. So when you should take the feedback, you should take the feedback 3 times. One feedback you should take at the beginning, that what are their expectation. Then one feedback you should take in the middle. How is the expectation meeting, whether it is meeting or not meeting. Then you can alter your course. And finally you can take one feedback at the end of the course to understand that whether things went nicely or not. Okay, next thing is you can always plan for open book test, because you don't want student to simply mug different concepts and come. They should be always be able to use the concepts and apply it. And regarding the question paper design, 70% should be like, it should be able the average student should be able to solve it, 20% good, and 10% should be really difficult, which only the best student can solve. Then again you have to distribute it across the Bloom's taxonomy level. There are different Bloom's taxonomy: remember, create, analyze, right, understand. So you have to divide it in accordingly. avoid problems with lengthy solution. So you can, before giving the problem, you can solve it on your own and see how much time it is taking, and you should avoid giving lengthy problem in the exam. Now comes a very important thing, which is creating rubrics. So I will show you one example. What does the rubric means? It gives a better picture for the student what is the expectation in the assignment. So let me show you one rubrics. Okay, so this is one assignment which one sample assignment, where the assignment is you have to design a battery charging circuit design. So this is from the course linear integrated circuit. So all these details are given here, that what they have to do. And finally this is the rubrics. Okay, so this is the first criteria, circuit schematic. So if they have done this thing, right, then they will get 5 out of 5, excellent. And if they have done this thing, like the circuit schematic is missing, they will only get 1. So it's clearly mentioned that to get different marks, what is the expectation. Similarly, this is the second component, where component list, and if they provide this, they will get full, and accordingly they will get 1 marks. So all these you have to, this is the rubrics which you have to create for your assignment and give it to your student. So this will help them understand, okay, what is the expectation. These are for your assignments, not for your exams, right? Rubrics is all about your assignments. So we completed this 5 modules. Now I will quickly summarize what we have learned in this 5 modules. So the first module was all about teaching learning process, where you have to do chunking and spacing. We saw some qualities of a teacher. What is the Lohmann's 2D model and what is the ARCS model. In the second module, course design and delivery, we saw importance of MOOC courses, the ground rules, how you have to do a unit level planning, importance of flipped classroom and PSIG groups. Then comes the dynamic classroom, where you can, the self-learning topics you can avoid to save time. Then how you can engage the slow learners in your office hours, and how you can engage some dynamic classroom activities. Then we saw how you can use technologies in your class, like simulation labs. You can explore ICT tools. You can also blend your class with online, and you can use tools like Mentimeter, Kahoot. And finally we saw what is an effective assessment, how you can do plagiarism control, open book test, feedback from student, how you should design the question paper, and how you can finally create the rubrics. So I would like to end my slide with presentation with this last quote from Benjamin Franklin, which says that, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, and involve me and I learn." So hopefully this video will be useful to all the aspiring teachers, and it will help you change the way you currently teach, and hopefully your students will enjoy your class more than before. Okay, thank you. Now I will stop this video.